and welcome back to another video. So today I bring you a speed paint. Recently I was asked to do a piece inspired by Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, and looking at some references and just the art process, I wanted to have my own spin on the drawing. So I want to take you through my thought process and some of the rendering that I decided to do for this piece. So I actually don't know much about Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. However, looking at a lot of the marketing material people used to use and a lot of the significance of the play, and I think it was also a movie at some point, there seems to be a lot of themes about a masquerade ball, probably a forbidden lover, etc., etc. So I wanted to sort of take it in a sense where there is a reflection of the Greek mythology Narcissus flower. Basically, it's a tale where this guy looks in a lake, and I'm kind of condensing it, and basically he's so entranced by his own beauty that he ends up turning into a flower because he stays there forever. And I wanted to sort of do that, but as you saw in my initial sketching phases, I decided to put the female character in the foreground and then have what I'm assuming ends up being the male lead or her lover or something in the mirror as her reflection. So it's kind of a pattern on basically what she may feel or what she can't feel. Again, I don't really have the context of the play, so I'm kind of just going off of other marketing material I saw. I saw a lot of it also had stuff like kiss marks for lipstick, so I did sort of base it off of that. And right now what you're seeing is me rendering the actual female lead for the play, and I decided to go against doing a piece in color. So I decided to do something in black and white, and I really don't often do black and white unless I have the intention to do color. But I decided for this piece I wanted a lot of contrast between not only the values and perhaps the feeling of the show, but also when I add in her red lipstick, it's going to be the only piece of color in the entire art composition. So when you see the lipstick on her lips and then the lipstick smudge on his face, you can kind of see a contrast between details. And I wanted this piece not to be super detailed heavy or even really rendered to its fullest extent. I also decided to go in a more realistic approach. I'm not doing my normal big anime eyes, and I decided to keep the proportions a little more normal. I do kind of wish I went more exaggerated with it, but because I know this is going to be used for advertising material, I wanted to keep it simple so that whoever looks at it immediately knows what's happening. I kept the composition from the bottom down to be really, really simple. In fact, that part is just her hands, the dress, and the dresser that she's sitting on / leaning on. And then most of the piece is actually from the upward part. So if you kind of divide it into the rule of thirds, I'm kind of using 2/3 of the top of the composition rather than the bottom. And I wanted to really focus on their faces mostly, so everything else is rendered to detail not as much. And overall, I think it gives the piece a really nice feeling. I also really like how the perspective of the dresser came out, and the mirror was not too bad either. I used a lot of references to sort of get I don't know if it's Regency, I don't think that's the right term, but more vintage, antique, sort of old-timey mirror compositions. That way it feels more fluid and alive, and just overall it looks really, really good in the compositional piece. And as I go through rendering all of the pieces and the people, you can really see that come out. I turn off a few layers here and there to make sure that I'm actually getting a lot of stuff. And if you're wondering how I set my piece to black and white, which it isn't really too hard because originally I started in color, if you saw my initial put down of colors, you can just go into Procreate, which is the program I'm using, and then just set the layer mode to saturation. And I'll turn black and white, and then from there you can just use black and white values and adjust. I also used the lasso tool for a lot of this piece because I wanted to make a lot of big, bold shapes. I didn't want to focus on the small details. Here I am adding lipstick. So I actually kind of used a lot of the lasso tool for this piece to get those big shapes to really convey a message. Then I added in a few effects and a multiplier layer, except it's just black set to opacity, threw in a background piece, and I'm all done. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!